Pastor Stephen Sauls of Hilldale United Methodist Church will be our chaplain of the day. Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilperson Allen. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to stand if you wish. Pastor Sauls.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Sounds like y'all have a full evening planned tonight. Let us go to the Lord in prayer. Gracious and eternal God, who guides us in moments of decision and in paths of community, we gather here in the spirit of unity and responsibility, entrusted with the welfare of our beloved community. We seek wisdom that transcends our understanding and compassion that broadens our perspectives. May our discussions be rooted in respect, our decisions marked by fairness, and our actions reflective of the love and justice that you, O God, call us to embody. Bless each person here with a heart of service and a mind open to the diverse needs of our community. May we find common ground in our shared humanity and in our collective desire for peace, prosperity, and the common good. Guide us, God of peace and justice, so that our work together may bring about growth, healing, and unity. May our endeavors today contribute to the well-being of all members of our community now and in the future. In a spirit of gratitude and hope, we offer this prayer in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Members, please register your attendance. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
All members are present with the exception of Councilperson McLaughlin, who is excused.
Thank you very much. Let's give the crowd a moment to clear the chambers, and then we'll carry on. Ladies and gentlemen, could I ask you to file out quietly so we can begin? We've got a long agenda ahead of us. Thank you. All right. All right. The next item on our agenda is the Planning Commission report. Councilperson Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 7 items, 7 new ordinances on the Planning Commission tonight. Madam Clerk, will you read the ordinances, please?
Ordinance 69, 2023, 24B, first reading, zoning case Z2, 2024. This ordinance was referred back to RPC on February 1st, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Sid Hedrick for zone change on a parcel of land located south of the Swift Drive and Ridgecrest Drive intersection from O1 Office District to R2A 3-family residential district. Ordinance 74, 2023-24, first reading, zoning case Z01, 2024, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Johnny Piper for zone change on a tract of land located northeast of the Fort Campbell and Old Mill Road intersection from R1, single-family residential district, to R4, multiple-family residential district. Ordinance 75, 2023-24, first reading, zoning case Z03, 2024, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Maria Gold for zone change on a tract of land fronting on the south frontage of Needmore Road, 955 plus or minus feet east of the Needmore Road and Needmore Court intersection from R1, single-family residential district, to C5, highway and arterial commercial district. Ordinance 76, 2023-24, first reading, zoning case number Z04, 2024. The applicant is requesting a deferral, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of CJB Partners for zone change on 2 parcels. One is the east-southwest corner of Britton Springs Road and Morningside Drive. The other is the southwest corner of Britton Springs Road and Ambrose Drive, from R1, single-family residential district, to R6, single-family residential district. Ordinance 77, 2023-24, first reading, zoning case number Z06, 2024, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Trenton Road properties for zone change on a parcel of property fronting on the east frontage of Trenton Road, 285 plus or minus feet south of the Trenton Road and Cypress Court intersection, from R1, single-family residential district, to R4, multiple family residential district. Ordinance 78, 2023-24, first reading, zoning case number Z07, 2024, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Maniqua Gold for zone change on a tract of land located south of the northern terminus of Ann Drive, from R1, single-family residential district, to R3, three-family residential district, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville. Ordinance 79, 2023-24, first reading, zoning case Z08, 2024, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of James Pelham for zone change on property north of Earl Slate Road, 275 plus or minus feet east of the Earl Slate Road and Sanders Road intersection, from R1, single-family residential district, to R2, single-family residential district. And under Planning Commission old business, this item was heard during public hearing and referred back to the Planning Commission on February 1st, so there'll be no public hearing. Ordinance 70, 2023-24, first reading, an ordinance amending the city zoning ordinance of the city of Clarksville, Tennessee, as it pertains to the RM1 zoning classification.
Councilperson Streetman.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mayor, I move we go into public hearing.
Motion been made and properly seconded to revert to public hearing without objection. We are now in public hearing. First item in our public hearing is ordinance 69, 2023-24, B, amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Clarksville, application of Sid Hedrick. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of ordinance 69? If you will give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Sid Hedrick. It's you want address? You like address? No, don't need address. Okay. I'm here to discuss an R2A zoning for the property located at 1016 Swift Drive. And I'll just start by saying there are no underlying agendas with this. I'm just looking to zone it residentially because it's currently commercial. The zoning code describes the requested zoning as follows. The R2A single-family residential district. The purpose of the R2A single-family residential district is to provide infill opportunities around the city, as well as small-scale suburban development in pockets of undeveloped or redeveloping land where adequate infrastructure is or can be made available and has adequate street access. Sufficient urban services and facilities, including sanitary sewer, should be available or provided concurrently with development. I believe this property in question meets all of these criteria. It's an undeveloped piece of land with adequate street access, as well as has all the appropriate utilities currently available. New residential development inside the boundaries of this neighborhood, consisting of the Forest Park, Mayfair, and Arthur Moore subdivisions, will be a positive action for the area. For instance, it will help to overshadow negatives such as the fact that 1017 Swift Drive is currently being used as a duplex, but it's a single-family zoning. Other items such as addresses like 1000 Swift Drive, 976 Swift Drive, 972, 970, 968, 715 McGraw, 717 McGraw, 969 Oakdale, 967 Oakdale, and 714 Woodlawn, and 5 of the 8 Arthur Moore Edition lots at the end of Lincoln Street are all non-conforming. They don't have 9,000 square feet. They're not even R2 lots, except they are, but they're non-conforming. R2 is a 9,000 square foot lot. Okay, R2A is probably a 5,000 square foot lot, I think. But those lots are on the outskirts of the neighborhood, just like what I'm here to request a zone for, and they don't conform. They're not the right size. Now, I get it. You're thinking, well, that's, they're grandfathered in. Well, we kind of got rid of that. If you remember last month I was here, we were talking about R3, because my understanding of R3 at the time was we changed R3. We took out that grandfathering clause. We took out the lot of record clause, and we're not really doing that. And I get it. We're not going to go through the neighborhoods and every neighborhood in the city and change every zone to match, because it's just not going to be possible. It can't happen. We can't do a fancy study on every neighborhood like we did on the Red River District just because it needs to be done. It's not cost effective. It's not efficient. It's just not what we should do. But if you can see that our zoning code calls for appropriate infill opportunities, and that's what R2A is. It's basically a suburban infill zoning, and that's what I'm trying to do. Currently, this zone is O1. Nobody wants to have office building there. Nobody wants a daycare in the middle of this neighborhood. Nobody wants a emergency shelter in the middle of this neighborhood, because those are the types of things that's allowed in the O1 zoning, if you read the zoning book. Some other things that I'll point out is that since 2010, Clarksville has seen a significant amount of growth within the city limits. Therefore, development within the city limits should be prioritized. And I think this is a great opportunity to support this zoning because of the need for the prioritization of, building residential single-family homes, just like in your regular neighborhoods, in this neighborhood right here. Some other things to point out are, if the Planning Commission's historical density estimate is accurate for the subject property, they say 9 potential lots if zoned R2A. That accounts for approximately 4.5 lots per acre. There are approximately 3.42 acres developed between Woodlawn Drive and Ridgecrest Drive. That's just literally the next block up. And that block in front of that subject property, within this, there are 14 residential building lots, one of those being one of the non-conforming lots that I just mentioned. That's 4.1 lots per acre. It's only a 0.4 difference. We're talking about a very insignificant difference of just how it's zoned now and how it's developed now. Another one is 18 developed lots located between Monroe Street and Woodlawn Street. That's the next block up. So on that, approximately 4.34 lots per acre on that 4.14 acres where those 18 lots are developed. And so according to the draft of the new comp plan, the subject property is located in what is considered a traditional neighborhood, okay? And I know that some of the neighbors, they find the property's topography to be steep. It does not exceed any traditional or topographical rating for development, and it's far from being considered undevelopable. In fact, with appropriate silt fencing, retaining walls, a grading plan, which is done at the development phase, installation
Mr.
of
Hedrick,
permeable.
your 5 minutes is up.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm finished, because I think
Okay,
you guys have
all
heard
right.
everything I need to
We
say.
do have questions. Councilperson Holloman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. So if this gets voted down, you would build a daycare? Is that what you're implying?
Possibly, yes.
Okay, that'd be pretty sweet. Thank you.
Any other comment or question for Mr. Hedrick? Councilperson Smith, you're recognized.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Hedrick,
Yes,
for
ma'am.
all you shared with us today. Now, will these homes be for sale or for rental properties only?
I'm not going to be building the homes, but the guys that tell me that they want to develop the lots, I believe their intent is to build homes that would be for sale.
For sale? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Any other comment or question? Thank you, Mr. Hedrick.
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak in favor of Ordinance 69? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against Ordinance 69? Just while you're making your way up, I'll remind that our city code allows 2 people to speak in favor, 2 people to speak against, and then we allow rebuttal on each side if it's necessary. So give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is John McConnell, and I live at 703 Ridgecrest Drive, across from where the parcel of land in this case is located. A lot of what Mr. Hedrick just said to me sounded like an argument against a more dense designation for this parcel. If there are non-conforming units in the neighborhood that are making it more dense, why would we want a more dense designation for that parcel instead of a less dense residential designation? Look, I've talked to many of my neighbors, just about all of them, and we love Clarksville. We're trying to make Clarksville as great of a place to live as possible. If we all take care of our own little corners of this city, then the city as a whole becomes a better place. Like the Healthy Yards program that we have, where everyone is allowed to play a hand in the beautification of this city. We're just trying to look after our neighborhood. We are not opposed to rezoning it to residential. We are simply asking, why can we not rezone this residential with the lowest density designation? so that it would match the rest of the linked neighborhood, which is R2. Daycare, we would love a daycare. I just found out this week we're having a second child. We're going to have 2 young babies. There are tons of kids in the neighborhood. A daycare sounds great. Emergency shelter, we'd like that too. In the city's land use plan, it says that areas with excessive slope should remain unimproved or be developed only under the provisions of the lowest density categories. On page 39 of the new Clarksville Montgomery County Comprehensive Plan, it says, quote, to avoid developing on steep slopes due to increased risks of erosion, environmental damage, higher construction costs, and safety hazards. This is not simply a grading issue. We're talking about a 2-acre parcel of land that is part of a topography of connected land that averages over 14%. Given this guidance, this expert guidance in our own city's documents, why would we not choose R2, which is the lower density category? When Mr. Hedrick spoke in front of the commission, he used a maple syrup analogy and spoke of his desire to sweeten the deal, the business deal for himself. We understand that, but he doesn't live in the neighborhood. We do. Who is going to watch out for Shayla Abbott, our elderly blind neighbor who risks checking her mailbox on the street? Who is watching out for Kathy Aywood, whose young son was hit by a car because of the tight quarters on Swift Drive? Not one person we spoke to who lives in this neighborhood is in favor of this. What about the safety and well-being of the residents? We are the ones who live in this neighborhood, and like we've said before in the previous city council meeting, there are no sidewalks or walkways in this neighborhood. Builders are not living where they are building. We are, and we're voicing our concerns. If over 100 neighborhood residents are against this, why would we accommodate the business interests of a few? Is a city council really prepared to vote against the expert guidance in the city's land use plan and is what's contained in the new Clarksville Montgomery County Comprehensive Plan and vote the business interests of a few over the safety and well-being of many? Like I said before, we're a community and we're just trying to make our little corner of the city as great of a place to live as possible. If our neighborhood becomes less safe, less desirable, then those who would like to gentrify it, those who are trying to make the neighborhood better, will just move away. They'll go to a nicer part of the city. Is that what we want? Or do we want true integration within all of our communities in this great city? Again, we ask, why not follow what is consistent in the city's adopted land use and growth plans and match the rest of the neighborhood with the lower density R2 to optimize the safety and well-being of our neighborhood? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McConnell. Any comment or question for Mr. McConnell? Seeing none. If you spoke in favor of Ordinance 69, would like to offer rebuttal, you are welcome to come forward. We have code allows for one person. Seeing none, we're now ready for the next item on our public hearing list. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. One more against. Pardon me, I got in a hurry. So you're speaking against. Give us your name and you have 5 minutes.
Hi, my name is Donna Brew Radcliffe, and I've resided at 1018 Ridgecrest Drive for 38 years. I've taught elementary and middle school students in Clarksville, Montgomery County for 36 years, 12 of those years teaching 5th through 8th graders. Concerning this rezoning, the increased amount of traffic congestion and children riding bikes, skateboards, or sleds down extremely sloping narrow driveways is hazardous to the children and the drivers, and one, puts all of our current and future residents at risk, especially irresponsible children and teens seeking thrills on these driveways. 2, since there's absolutely no way to widen Swift Drive, it's impossible to add sidewalks. Therefore, all activities such as bike riding, skateboarding, walking to and from or waiting for a school or city bus, jogging, walking pets, etc., must be done out in the middle of a narrow roadway. This is especially dangerous since there's a blind corner right where Swift Drive and Ridgecrest Drive meet. I cannot imagine 8 to 10 narrow, severely sloped driveways emptying cars and people right out into the area where the blind corner exists. Sorry. Since all the driveways currently at the end of Swift Drive are so short, the renters and owners must park their cars in the street in front of their homes. With inattentive children and teenagers running between the cars and people opening the car doors, this basically makes this narrow road a one-lane road going into a blind corner. We already know, as John said, of an inattentive child that was hit by a slow-moving car on Swift Drive. Thank goodness no medical intervention was needed, but adding 16 to 20 more cars will further aggravate the safety issues due to traffic congestion. I'd like to address the letter from school bus driver Helen Pearl, who resides at 1003 Swift Drive. I believe all of you have copies of this letter. Since cars block on the side of the road, the school system will not allow bus drivers to pick up the elementary students and proceed on up Ridgecrest Drive. Therefore, the bus driver, heaven help her, must back into an extremely narrow road, Woodlawn Road, to turn around. As far as our middle school and high schoolers who are picked up between 6:30 and 6:30 in the morning, they have to walk in the middle of a sloped road in the dark to wait for their school bus. Then in the winter, they're walking once again in the middle of a dark road to get home, all because the road is too narrow for a school bus to drive down it. Now they plan to add 16 to 20 or more children into this unsafe environment. I want you to stop a minute, guys. I mean, I taught middle school. These kids think they're immortal. Stop a moment and envision this scenario with me. An irresponsible teenager or preteen thrilled at the thought of barreling down a severely sloped driveway onto a bike, on a sled, on a skateboard, directly into the street where drivers are coming around a blind corner. This could easily be a fatal situation for the children and unbelievably traumatic for the drivers who hit them. Scares me. I'm one of those drivers. Scares me. Parking for the new residents should definitely be required behind their homes where they come out almost even with Swift Drive, so therefore the blind corner is not involved. Residents of Swift and Ridgecrest Drives are not against pro-development, but it must be done responsibly, with safety always in the forefront. However, we do oppose growth and development that might result in serious safety and environmental issues. This might also cause harmful issues for the city, who must come out yearly to clean the grates and to climb down in these manholes to clog these sewer lines of all this leaf debris. I had a thought today when I was driving over there. I want you to imagine a steep drive with woods around it and leaves falling on it. These children are going to have to walk up down these driveways. Guys, they're going to be falling all over the place. So, I'm going to ask, why not match this new construction with the rest of the neighborhood along Swift and Ridgecrest Drive and zone it R2? Also, require the driveway entrance to go straight off of Swift behind the houses. In closing, I'd like to give a special thanks to our District 7 Councilman, Travis Holloman. Thank you, Travis, for coming to our neighborhood and evaluating our situation and giving us his wise counsel.
Thank you. Any comment or question for Ms. Radcliffe? Okay, thank you. Now, if you're in favor of Ordinance 69 and wish to offer rebuttal, you are welcome to come up. We have room for one. All right, seeing none, we are now ready for Ordinance 74, 2023-24, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Johnny Piper. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of Ordinance 74? You're a familiar face. Give us your name and you have 5 minutes.
Council, nice seeing each of you. Thank you. I'm Johnny Piper. I'm here on a zoning request. As most of you know, the last tornado on December the 9th came through our property, hit my house and hit all the property there and tore out most of the trees, about 50% of the trees, and damaged a large amount of the house. And so we've been there 34 years, and I guess it's time for us to move on. We didn't want to because we've loved that place, and we've tried being good stewards here for Clarksville at this location. Most of you have the application, I think, do. And on there it shows the property is zoned commercial and R1, surrounded by R4 property, mostly in commercial. So I think it's a natural transition to an R4, since it is R4. Most of it around the apartments are already there, and R4 on the other side. And going from a C5, which is more traffic than R4, so that's what we're trying to do, is zone it all to R4. The traffic, the main entrance will be off of Old Mill Road. You'll turn on to Old Mill Road, and about 100 feet, you'll go straight into the property, and it'll be about 250 feet before any apartments or anything is built back there. So it's a long distance off of Old Mill Road. Actually, Old Mill Road makes a sharp turn there to the left. So when you come in, you'll go into the property. My neighbors, who are wonderful neighbors, by the way, they'll go to the left. I've done some things, hopefully, that will help them a lot. The property has about 850 feet of frontage that would be untouched and shielded by a privacy fence all down Old Mill Road. There will be no access from this property other than the initial access coming in onto Old Mill Road. There'll be a privacy fence there. Second, there's a secondary location with access back on Tynewood Road, which when I developed the property, I put that access there for this very reason. It's already paved and gives a second access to Tynewood Drive, which comes out to Old Mill Road. The street department is satisfied that the roadways can meet acceptable levels of service with this development and must review and approve any necessary improvements at the time a site plan is submitted through the Planning Commission. All stormwater flows directly currently into Little West Fork Creek without affecting any adjacent properties. Clarksville Street Department and Tennessee Department of Environment Conservation, TDEC, are required to review and approve, as you know, the erosion control and stormwater plans prior to issuing a grading permit. So this will all be done through an approval process. This includes permanent treatment measures that reduce pollutants from the finished development, in addition to the temporary measures that are only necessary during construction. I want to emphasize that it is not your project, that it's not my project, and that I trust the project that's coming forward will be properly designed and reviewed by the proper authorities. I've sold the property, and on the contract of the property, just so you'll know, I've tried maintaining, I said the buyer agrees to incorporate the historic home and the guest house into the development. He totally agreed to that. Buyer agrees to put privacy fence along Old Mill Road from the beginning entry that I spoke about all the way down to Little West Fork Creek. And that's in our purchase sale agreement. During the site plan review period, through the Regional Planning Commission, requirements on the development will be made to obtain a permit from the State of Tennessee Department of Environmental Conservation. In addition, a city grading and drainage permit will be required and will address concerns about erosion, sediment, water quality, and runoff. Our engineers their engineers will confirm that no increase in runoff volume or velocity will be allowed to any adjacent property owners. The way the property is designed is currently, it just wouldn't allow it anyway. As far as traffic goes, the developer submitted a traffic assessment that indicated a reduction in potential trips would be the result of a requested zone change due to the C5 to the R4 zoning. In addition, traffic analysis was included in the report that showed acceptable levels of service on Fort Campbell Boulevard. At the time of site plan development, additional traffic study may determine if roadway improvements are justified. I will not be submitting that. That'll be the developer. That's not me. I own the property, but I'll be transferring the property on. I think I've got 16 seconds left, and I'll let y'all have it.
Thank you. Giving us the gift of time. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Piper?
Thank you.
Seeing none, thank you. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor of Ordinance 74? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against Ordinance 74? Next item on our public hearing agenda is Ordinance 75, 2023-24, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Maria Gold. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of Ordinance 75? Thank you for removing your hat. Give us your name and you have 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Shelton Covington. With my 5 minutes, I just want to talk to you about the property a little bit. As you guys know, Needmore is a very popular road, and this specific piece of land has not been developed. It has unique concerns about it that have made it not very popular. The site itself would require a drainage permit, obviously the site review, all that would still go through that regular process. It kind of acts as a regional drainage for the area. With that being the case, you can't build a traditional commercial building there, such as gas station or a convenience store or something of that nature. So I'm seeking this rezoning to C5 with the understanding that this would be a more creative use case of maybe, ideally, maybe a small contractor warehousing, something that could facilitate the main lines of Wilma and Needmore to neighborhoods to provide better access for these small business owners to help maintain houses and improve them where necessary. I don't really have much more to say, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Covington. Any comment or question from Mr. Covington? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor of ordinance 75? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against ordinance 75? We're ready for item D, ordinance 76. The applicant has requested deferral, so we will skip that in our public hearing. Now we're ready for item E, ordinance 77, 2023-24, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Trenton Road properties. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of ordinance 77? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against ordinance 77? Next item on our public hearing agenda is item F, ordinance 78, pardon me, 2023-24, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Monique Gold. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of ordinance 78? If you would give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Calvin Ligon, how y'all doing this evening? This is my rezone case. I emailed you all my plans and a preliminary site plan. My plan is to build single-family homes. The new R3 regulations allows us the density that we need to make this work for us and the family. So if you got any questions, I'll do my best to try and answer.
Thank you, Mr. Ligon. Any comment or question for Mr. Ligon? Councilperson Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Ligon, for coming. Can you tell me how many acres is this land?
It's 10.
10 acres?
Yes, ma'am.
And how many homes you plan to build?
Between 38 and 40.
All right. Have, any oppositions from anybody that you have talked to? Or? No?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Councilperson Allen, you're recognized.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Can you tell me your thoughts on why it got disapproved by the staff and the?
No.
No?
I don't.
You don't know?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilperson Marquis, you're recognized.
Yes, okay, I guess, would you be able to clarify the situation with Bell Road? Because last week we heard a little bit from their side, so we're just trying to understand your side.
A couple years ago, when we brought the front piece in, from what I understood, the RPC said Bell Road would eventually be abandoned. So that's what we were thinking going into this piece. That site plan shows it, the little
Yeah.
the continuous piece, but we're thinking of just cul-de-sacing right there until we figure out what to do with the middle portion.
Because from last week, I remember they were saying how it would be better if it connected, so I just want to see what your plan was.
Obviously, in my opinion, Bell Road, it's unsafe. It comes to
Yeah.
spits out into a curve right there. When they said it would need to be abandoned, we were all aligned and all agreed.
And then obviously the streets department will eventually
Yes.
figure that out, but otherwise, if they determine that's not the case, what's the plan, I guess? Do you have one?
For Bell Road,
Well, your property touches it, with the little sliver at the end.
we would just stub out right there at
Okay.
the end. If you look at that prelim site plan, I can't remember which lot is right there by that connector, but we redrawn it to where it just a cul-de-sac right there that deads in until
Okay.
we figure out the middle piece. But if they come and tell us we have to make improvements to Bell Road, then we're all for it. I mean, we'll do what we need to do. So we just need to get it past it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any more comment or question for Mr. Ligon? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor of ordinance 78? If you would give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Jonathan Blick. Mr. Ligon has asked me to come in and supply some of the real estate data on this one. Of course, this is a 10-acre tract. It's a rather large tract for 40 lots. What we're trying to do is do R3 zoning for single family. We have a site plan that would support 40 affordable single family houses. At the time of the Regional Planning Commission meeting in Montgomery County, we only had 931 homes on the market, and only one of those homes was single family dwelling under 250,000. So affordability is definitely in demand. Since then, that home is sold, so I broadened the search a little bit more to 275,000, which would kind of be in this sweet spot that we're in. And we currently only have 3 of those new construction homes under 275,000, and one of those was built by Blick Homes. Blick Homes LLC and Calvin have worked together on several projects, and of those projects, we have sold several affordable homes starting in the $225,000 range and up. Calvin would like to provide an affordable option for buyers. As we know, they will sell quickly and benefit buyers that would more than likely be priced out of the new construction market on the open market. And then also like to note that there is a 15-acre tract below this. That's kind of the only thing that separates us from R4. So if we were to gather a contract on both of those parcels, we could probably make it more dense. And with this being 10 acres as R4, it would be a lot more dense. Initially, Calvin reached out to me thinking that R4 would be ideal, but these bumped up to single-family homes. So we think keeping the single-family dwelling going off of that street in the back that was, I believe, Ann Drive, would just benefit everybody. So just kind of keep some consistency, keep all the R4 density up front, closer to Needmore Road. So anybody have any questions about the market for me?
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Blick? Seeing none, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Anyone in the audience wish to speak against ordinance 78? All right, last item on our public hearing list is item G, ordinance 79, 2023-24, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of James Pelham. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of ordinance 79? If you would, give us your name, and you have 5 minutes.
Yes, James Pelham, and I live at 1611 Eastern Hills Drive. And I'm the property owner of the 253 Earl Slate. And I was trying to get it rezoned, and the Planning Commission voted favorable for the project. And I wanted to present it to y'all to see if I could get y'all's blessing on the rezoning of the property.
Thank you, Mr. Pelham. Any comment or question? Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor of ordinance 79? Anyone in the audience wish to speak against ordinance 79? That completes our public hearing. Councilperson Streetman.
Thank you, Mayor. I move we go back into regular session.
Motion been made and properly seconded to revert to regular session without objection. We're now back in regular session. Councilperson Streetman. I'm sorry, we're back in regular session. Councilperson Streetman.
Upon legal recommendation, all motions will be for approval. Ordinance 69, 2023, 24, first reading, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Sid Hedrick for zone change on a parcel of land located south of the Swift Drive and Ridgecrest Drive intersection from O1 Office District to R2A 3-family residential district. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 69. Any comment or question from council regarding ordinance 69? Councilperson Holloman, you recognize.
Thank you, Mayor. Here we are again. Back with R2A. Before it was R3 with a higher density. And while R2A is a lower density, I think if it was developed and a daycare was put there and kept O1, that would be a really big benefit to the neighborhood. And, I think we've gone over this quite enough, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you.
Any other comment or question regarding ordinance 69? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
5 yes, 6 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 69 fails. Councilperson Streetman.
Ordinance 74, 2023, 24, first reading, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Johnny Piper for zone change on a tract of land located northeast of the Fort Campbell and Old Mill Road intersection from R1 Single Family Residential District to R4 Multiple Family Residential District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 74. Any comment or question regarding ordinance 74? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
11 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 74 passes first reading. Councilperson Streetman.
Ordinance 75, 2023, 24, first reading, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Maria Gold for zone change on a tract of land fronting on the south frontage of Needmore Road, 955 plus or minus feet east of the Needmore Road and Needmore Court intersection from R1 Single Family Residential District to C5 Highway and Arterial Commercial District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 75. Any comment or question from council regarding ordinance 75? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
9 yes, 2 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 75 is adopted. First reading. Councilperson Streetman.
Ordinance 76, 2023, 24 has been deferred at the request of the applicant. Ordinance 77, 2023, 24, first reading, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Trenton Road Properties, LLC, for zone change on a parcel of property fronting on the east frontage of Trenton Road, 285 plus or minus feet south of the Trenton Road and Cypress Court intersection from R1 Single Family Residential District to R4 Multiple Family Residential District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 77. Any comment or question regarding ordinance 77? Councilperson Shekinah, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just asked that we think about a no vote on this one. We're putting more houses, more traffic right there on Trenton. We need to wait, as we've discussed in previous sessions, until Trenton Road is built out. So Trenton Road, Rossi Road, Pea Ridge Road, they're all in the same situation. They're already overcrowded, and we don't need to add more density directly to that road. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comment or question from council regarding this ordinance? Councilperson Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to say there was no one here to speak out against this, and so I will be voting in favor of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment or question regarding ordinance 77? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
5 yes, 6 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 77 fails. Councilperson Streetman, you're recognized.
Ordinance 78, 2023, 24, first reading, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Monica Gold for zone change on a tract of land located south of the northern terminus of Ann Drive from R1 Single Family Residential District to R3 Three Family Residential District. The Regional Planning Commission and the staff both recommended disapproval. I so move for approval.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 78. Any comment or question from council regarding ordinance 78? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
7 yes, 4 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 78 is adopted. First reading. Councilperson Streetman.
Ordinance 79, 2023, first reading, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of James Pelham for zone change on property north of Earl Slate Road, 275 plus or minus feet east of the Earl Slate Road and Sanders Road intersection from R1 Single Family Residential District to R2 Single Family Residential District. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 79. Any comment or question from council regarding ordinance 79? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
11 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 79 is adopted. First reading. Councilperson Streetman. Councilperson Allen, for what reason?
No, I was just wanted to be in line
Oh,
after she get done with
okay.
that one.
Councilperson Streetman, you're recognized. Push your button again if you don't mind.
This Planning Commission old business, this item was heard during the public hearing and referred back to the Planning Commission on February 1st, 2024. Ordinance 70, 2023, 24, first reading. An ordinance amending the city zoning ordinance of the city of Clarksville, Tennessee, as it pertains to the RM1 zoning classification. Both the Regional Planning Commission and the staff recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 70. Now, Councilperson Allen.
Before we speak on this, and this is just a grammatical error on the bottom, it says the public hearing was February 1st, which it was. It says the first reading was February 1st, which it was, but we referred it. So doesn't it have to be read again twice?
This is first reading.
Okay, so on the bottom, right here, it says the first reading was February 1st on the ordinance, the actual ordinance. And it says second reading March 7th, and then it says effective date March 7th.
We'll correct that.
All right, thank you.
This is first reading, but we'll correct the grammar. Okay, any other comment or question regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
9 yes, 2 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 70 is adopted. First reading. Councilperson Streetman.
That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Now ready for the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, please read the consent agenda.
All items in this portion of the agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and may be approved by one motion. However, a member of the council may request that an item be removed for separate consideration under the appropriate committee report. Ordinance 64, 2023-24, second reading, an ordinance accepting the donation of certain real property from Edward Burchett Property to the city of Clarksville for the purpose of a sewer pump station. Ordinance 65, 2023-24, second reading, an ordinance accepting the donation of certain real property from ACI Investment Group property to the city of Clarksville for the purpose of a sewer pump station. Ordinance 66, 2023-24, second reading, an ordinance accepting the donation of certain real property from Melissa G. Tennant property to the city of Clarksville for the purpose of a sewer pump station. Ordinance 67, 2023-24, second reading, amending the zoning ordinance and map of the city of Clarksville, application of Donald Webb for zone change on two parcels fronting on the north frontage of Britton Springs Road, 820 plus or minus feet west of the Fort Campbell Boulevard and Britton Springs Road intersection, from R4 Multiple Family Residential District to R6 Single Family Residential District. Ordinance 73, 2023-24, second reading, an ordinance levying a privilege tax upon the occupancy of any hotel or motel or any place in which rooms, lodging, or accommodations are furnished to transients for consideration. Resolution 39, 2023-24, a resolution approving a renewal of a certificate of compliance for sale of wine at Riverbend Wine and Spirits, 1206 Highway 48 in Clarksville, and adoption of minutes February 1st, 2024.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll entertain a motion and a second on the consent agenda. Motion been made and properly seconded on the consent agenda. Councilperson Allen on the consent agenda.
Yep. I'd like to pull off ordinance 73, 2023-24, and I'd like to say that there's two ordinance of the same numbers on our agenda. 73, 2023-24, E, and then C under the finance.
Okay, thank you. We'll make note of that.
Thank you.
Councilperson Shekinah, you're recognized on the consent agenda.
That's what I was gonna pull. I was gonna pull the same one, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we'll place that or ordinance right after the consent agenda. Any other comment or question on the consent agenda? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, we're voting on the consent agenda. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
The consent agenda is adopted. Thank you. We will now take up item E, ordinance 73, 2023-24, second reading ordinance levying a privilege tax upon the occupancy of any hotel or motel or any place in which rooms, lodging, or accommodations are furnished to transients for consideration. Councilperson Shekinah, Councilperson Allen pulled this. We'll come to you first, and then I think Councilperson Shekinah will be recognized.
Okay, so as you all know, we got a lot of information about this week, and I am going to make a motion to postpone this so we can do a deeper study on it, so that we can really get the information we need to make the proper decision about this one.
Postpone until
The next meeting.
April 2024 regular session. Motion been made to postpone, properly seconded. Any comment or question regarding that? Councilperson Shekinah on the motion to postpone? Okay. Any other comment or question? Seeing none, we're voting on the motion to postpone. All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Motion to postpone passes. We are now ready for the Finance Committee. Chairperson Streetman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Without objection, I'd like to make a motion to take up ordinance 71, 2023, 24, and ordinance 72, 2023, 24 in one motion.
Any objection to taking those two ordinances together? Hearing none, you're recognized.
Ordinance 71, 2023, 24, first reading, an ordinance authorizing the exercise of the right of eminent domain to acquire easements, property, and rights of way required to facilitate construction of the sidewalk project on Ringgold Road. Ordinance 72, 2023, 24, first reading, an ordinance authorizing the exercise of the right of eminent domain to acquire easements, property, and rights of way required to facilitate construction of the sidewalk project on Burns-Darden Elementary School, Richview Middle School, and Clarksville High School. Finance Committee recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of those two ordinances. Any comment or question regarding those two ordinances? Councilperson Holloman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a quick question for the chair of the Transportation, Street, and Garage Committee. Why was that disapproved? What was the reason for that?
They
Council,
were both put together by one of the members. You voted to put it together, so we voted to put it together based upon a request of one of the members.
so the motion in
That's how we
committee
voted.
was to put the three ordinances together, and that's why.
Okay.
Any other comment or question regarding these two ordinances? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Let the clerk's fingers catch up with us. Now, every member, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
9 yes, 3 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinances 71 and 72 are adopted. First reading. Chairperson Streetman.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I read the next one, do we need to amend this to a different number? Thank you very much.
We'll consider it a scrivener's error, and this will be ordinance 83. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Ordinance 83, 2023, 24, first reading. An ordinance accepting the donation of certain real property from Aspire Clarksville to the city of Clarksville for the purpose of greenway development along Golf Club Lane. Finance Committee recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 83. Any comment or question regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
You're free to move about the country. Also, ordinance 83 is adopted. First reading. Chairperson Streetman, you're recognized.
Ordinance 81, 2023, 24. First reading, an ordinance approving the acquisition of certain private property and divesting of city-owned property and authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement pertaining to same for a public purpose for widening and improving the Clarksville Greenway. Finance Committee recommended approval, and I so move.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ordinance 81. Any comment or question? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote? All members, please cast your vote. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Ordinance 81 is adopted. First reading. Chairperson's treatment.
That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. We're now ready for Gas and Water Committee. Chairperson Holloman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I did not receive a report, so next month we will double up.
Thank you. We'll check into that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Neighborhood and Community Services Committee. Chairperson Shekinah, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. From CNS, right now, we're still working the long-term recovery group for the tornadoes, which consists of various organizations here in Clarksville, Montgomery County. For the city, we have Michelle Austin, the Director of Community and Neighborhood Services, representing us in that effort. We also have Montgomery County, United Way, Hands on Nashville, Clarksville Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee, Iron Center of Hope, and United Methodist Committee on Relief, as well as the Tennessee Alliance for Legal Services. We have about 300 homes right now in Clarksville that are registered for case management. So again, Michelle, she's leading that, making sure those families are actually taken care of. On the 23rd of March, we have at Life Point Church. We have their members will be working there with the long-term recovery group to host a day, a serve day event. And we have 12 homes that still need residential cleanup. So we'll be leading that on the 23rd of March. Also on the 23rd of March, we have our Military Hero Empowerment Program. They're going to be hosting Tornado Survivor Resource Fair at the Stephen A. Cohen's Center. That's from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. In addition to that, all residents need to call 211. They're encouraged to do that to, list their concerns regarding the tornado cleanup and any one-on-one assistance that they may be in need of. Community Services Committee will meet on Monday, the 11th of March at 4:30 in the City Hall Conference Room. And at that time, we'll be going over the CDBG subrecipients update. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Chairperson Shekinah. Any comment or question? Hearing none, seeing none, we're ready for Parks and Recreation Committee. Chairperson Zacharias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. The Parks and Recreation Department recently announced the launch of its latest outdoor recreation initiative, Pack Up and Go. Designed by our new outdoor recreation programmer, this program will introduce participants to the fundamentals of backpacking, making it perfect for beginners or anyone willing to learn more. It will be held at Liberty Park on March 30th from 1 to 3 p.m. Are you in search of the perfect summer job? Look no further. Join the aquatics team for an exciting opportunity at our outdoor pools. We're seeking enthusiastic individuals aged 15 and up to be lifeguards. Take advantage of the complimentary Red Cross certification course available to those who join us. Visit our website to apply. Family formal tickets are available for purchase now until March 29th. The entire family is invited to join in the fun on Saturday, April 13th at the Wilma Rudolph Event Center. Admission is $20 for every guest and includes a meal with a kid-approved menu, dancing, and fun activities. This year's theme is Ice Cream Dream. If you are interested in joining the Parks and Rec team as a Deputy Director of Recreation or a Grounds and Facilities Crew Chief, you are encouraged to apply, as well as see a complete list of programs, classes, and ongoing activities at ClarksvilleParksRec.com. And Mayor, if it would be appropriate at this time, there is a member of the council who would like to speak about a recent Parks and Rec event that they were able to attend that I was not. Would it be okay if the councilperson from Ward 10 speak about the cookie crawl?
Absolutely. You're recognized. Talk about cookies.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Chair. I just want to tell everybody what a great event the Cookie Crawl was on February 10th. This was an inaugural event that the Parks and Recreation Committee, or the Parks and Recreation Department put on, and Amanda Pitt, who kind of led the way on that, and the entire Parks and Recreation Department did a fabulous job on this event. There was lots of cookie vendors there. I felt very sweet and full when I left there. And there was even, you could get the VIP tickets and actually get to decorate cookies. I decorated my first cookies. I was pretty impressed with them, so much so I wouldn't even eat them. I liked them so much. But I just want to give a big thank you and a shout out to the Parks and Recreation Department for continuing to come up with new ideas for families in our community to be able to come out and enjoy. And I look forward to it next year, and I encourage you all to come along as well, because there are so many good cookies there that I guess I am willing to share. So thank you very much, Chair. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chairperson Zacharias.
That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. We are now ready for Public Safety Committee. Chairperson Redd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. In the police department, we have 7 vacancies, and we will be sending 28 cadets to the police academy next month. Fire department had a total of 1,454 calls. 72% was for rescue and medical. 113 was for structural fires. 19 was for had community events, and there was 2 safety updates. Building codes, the citizens' complaints that they received was 141. We had 4 self-initiated complaints to make a total of 145. And from the permits that we got from building codes, it equaled the building permits was $260,761, and all permits that we get to put in the kitty is $362,633, and that completes my report, Mayor.
All right, any comment or question regarding this committee report? Seeing none, we're ready for Transportation Streets Garage Committee. Chairperson Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. The Transportation Street and Garage Committee has 1 ordinance, and it reads as 63/2023-24, an ordinance amending the official code Title 12, Chapter 1, pertaining to Section 12-124 on sidewalks. The Transportation Committee voted for disapproval, and I will now allow the sponsor to speak on her ordinance.
Councilperson Reynolds, you are the sponsor, and you're recognized by the chair.
Yes. I would like to motion to postpone until the April 2024 regular city council meeting and request that it be placed on the finance committee meeting.
Okay, you've heard the
Agenda.
motion. Thank you. You've heard the motion properly seconded. Any comment or question? Seeing none, hearing none, are you ready to vote on the postponement motion? Put my teeth in so I can talk. All right. Every member, please cast your vote. All right. Every member voted. Any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
The motion to postpone ordinance 63 passes. Thank you. Back to you, Chairperson Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. The TSG reports are as follows. For Transit Department for February 2024, CTS transported 46,508 riders. Fixed routes had 42,352 riders. Paratransit riders was 4,156 riders. Free fare rides for senior fixed routes was 7,333 riders. The TFA is conducting a triennial review of the city of Clarksville transit system. The review determines whether a recipient is administering its FTA funds program in accordance with 49 U.S.C. Chapter 53 Federal Transit Law provisions. CTS is currently sending requested documents to the FTA for review. CTS has also started crafting their budget for 2025. Operator of the month for January 2024 is Melina Siazon. That concludes that report. I do not have a report for the street department, so I will go on to the city garage. The total number of work orders for February 2024 for the city garage was 367. And I will skip on down to the fuel made by the city garage for on-site pumps for unleaded was a total cost of $102,960.50. For diesel, the total cost was $35,132.16. Okay, fuel cost for unleaded was $2.65 per gallon. That last delivery was February 27. It was an increase of 8% from $2.45 in January. The fuel cost for diesel was $2.77 per gallon. The last delivery was February 26, 2024. That was an increase of 11% from $2.50. This concludes my reports.
Thank you. Any comment or question regarding this committee report? Seeing none, hearing none, we're now ready for new business. Resolution 38, 2023-24, resolution expressing the sense of the Clarksville City Council opposing the Education Freedom Scholarship Act in Tennessee. Councilperson Reynolds, you are the sponsor and you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. We talked about it last week, but I wanted to add some new comments. I submitted this resolution because I think we have an obligation to show our support for local schools and our school board members. There are members in our community that feel the city council should not weigh in on this issue. The truth of the matter is the state legislature should not be taking away our freedom to decide these matters at the local level where they belong. This is true government overreach. We have a city that voted to provide 2.5% of our sales tax to CMCSS, which equates to $74 million in the tax year 22-23. 90% of Tennesseans attend public school. We have an obligation to ensure that the taxes our residents pay are used in their best interest, not blindly go along to get along. The average cost of private schools in Tennessee is $11,393 per year. States that have passed vouchers have shown that the majority of students benefiting from these vouchers are those students already attending private schools. We represent city residents that also pay the wheel tax and county taxes to support our school system. We as community members voted to elect county commissioners who hold the purse strings of our school system and school board members to represent us when making these tough decisions. The Tennessee State Constitution indicates that we should provide for the maintenance, support, and eligibility standards of a system of a free public school system. We as local leaders should send a message that we do not support the state legislature taking away our freedom to govern because they don't like the decision made at the local level to deny vouchers. From January 1st through June 30th of 2023, lobbying groups have spent $35 million in Tennessee to pass these vouchers. That is because this is a true transfer of wealth. Vouchers are a scam that do not provide freedom of choice for families to pick their schools, but will legalize private schools to discriminate based on race, religion, sexual orientation, or just to basically pick their students. Instead of focusing on offering the best products and services, these corporations and their lobbyists pressure state lawmakers to pass laws that rig the rules in their favor while tying the hands of our local elected leaders and communities. The private schools will not have accountability of tax dollars transferred to their organizations. There will be no TCAP testing, no third grade retention law, and they won't receive the state's A through F letter grading. The majority of students attending private schools in the state of Tennessee that are taking public dollars are performing poorly already, and those schools do not face any repercussions because of the lack of oversight. The second year, if this bill is passed at the state level, will cost an estimated $33 million, and that cost will increase with each year. Imagine what our education system could do with the infusion of this money. Perhaps we could move from the bottom 10% in funding per child and teacher pay. We could use the money to decrease classroom sizes, something our teachers continue to say will improve learning. Once this program takes effect, cities and counties will be required to raise taxes to address a significant budget shortfall because our state is currently facing a $400 million budget shortfall this current year. Democracy means people should be setting the rules for corporations, not corporations setting the rules for us. This resolution is about the principles of democracy. We already have voted in our community to say no to vouchers, and this is government overreach from the state level to say, I don't like your vote and I'm going to take away your freedom and your representation. We need to send the message to our state legislature that we are standing up for our local leaders, our elected officials, local schools, and their staff. We are defending our freedom to find local answers to local needs.
Thank you. Councilperson Zacharias, you're recognized on the ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, so
Well, first of all, let me ask, I do apologize. Did we get a motion in a second? We need a motion in a second.
motion for approval.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No problem. All right, so when thinking about how to vote on this issue, I really see two separate questions that I needed to answer. One, how do I feel about the law in general? And then two, is this the appropriate way to make that opinion or voice heard? I'm going to share just some of my experience with, or as a teacher here in CMCSS. Previous school that I worked at had was part of the academy system that we have in our high schools. It's a great system. I don't think anybody would disagree. It allows students to choose to attend a school other than what they're zoned for, to attend an academy that's offered by that school. What that meant at my school was 3 of the elective programs had a faculty that was allowed to choose their students. You had to apply and be accepted to that academy. Once those teachers were done choosing the students that they wanted in their classrooms, everybody that could not get into one of those academies was relegated to something that maybe they didn't even have an interest in. And as a teacher, as a cybersecurity teacher, what that meant was I often had students in my room who had no aptitude or no interest in the course that I was teaching. But I was still evaluated by the same standards as the teachers who did get to choose their students, who got to choose the individuals that were going to be in their classroom. Did that put me at a disadvantage? Maybe, probably, yes. And that's just a smaller version of what a voucher system can create. I am not opposed to school of choice, okay? We need to understand that this is not school of choice. This is giving people the option of pulling their students out of a school and allowing them to go to a different school with reduced standards that doesn't have to hire licensed teachers, that doesn't have to play by the same rules, and that I feel is wrong. It does put the rest of the schools at a disadvantage. So now the next question, is this the appropriate forum to send that message? This bill is still working its way through the legislative process. There are opportunities yet for it to be amended to maybe address some of these concerns. And I was concerned that a vote in favor of this resolution would be to show or to transmit a lack of faith and confidence in those legislators to do that job. And then about an hour before I got here, I got an email from the head of a local political party. And that email really decided how I was going to vote. That email said, "This is a partisan issue." And it shouldn't be. If there is anything that should not be a partisan issue, it is the education of our citizens. Everybody benefits from an educated workforce. So to call this a political issue, okay, we'll call it a political issue. And I am voting in favor of this resolution to show that I am not convinced, I do not have faith in the controlling party's willingness to fix the problems with this law as it is currently going through the legislature. Thank you.
Councilperson Allen, you're recognized on Resolution 38.
The previous council member said a mouthful, and I agree with him 100%. When we first started looking at these voucher programs, I came home and I was like, wow, we're going to get vouchers. You have to remember I'm from up north. I had a voucher to go to a school, but it wasn't like I get to choose what school. It was like, this school is underperforming. You can go where you want to go because your school failed this assessment. Okay, so it looked very different up north. So when I sat down and I really did the research on what the school voucher system looks like in in Tennessee, I was wholeheartedly disappointed. I don't really agree with any party. I'm going to choose for the issues. And to me, this has nothing to do with the party. But when I received that email, because I was kind of like, well, maybe they can change it. Maybe we can change the vote, and we can do some amendments to fix this program. But when I got the information an hour before this, because I was on the fence of voting against this, when I got that email, I was like, no, sir. So I agree with the previous council member. I'm going to be voting for this amendment. For this resolution. Thank you.
Councilperson Red, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to say, thank you to the sponsor for bringing this forward. And but I do believe, and I believe that her motives are correct, and she's for education. Just as I believe that the people that are against this particular resolution is for the children and for education. And the first thing that we should look at is what's best for the children. And I think our state representatives, both Democrats and Republicans, are that way. They say that change is inevitable. And most things do change over time, with technology and time and innovative thinking. But one thing that I've always noticed that always stays the same is public education. It's the same today as it was 100 years ago. There's not a lot of innovation that is brought in there. And I believe I know why. It's because one of the largest lobbying organizations, and somebody brought up lobbying, in the whole country is the biggest one is the National Education Association, that gives money to candidates at local level all the way up. And let me tell you, I don't care what party you belong to or whatnot, they're all afraid of the big lobbyists and the money that they have. And they're afraid that, and the lobbyists, and I agree with the sponsor. She spoke with the lobbyist on one side, and they're all afraid of that. And I believe that's why education has not changed, and no one can bring up any even experimental change in just a local area or any amount to do innovation within education, because it's always shot down. We even had a speaker that said, let me look at the note if I can read my writing here. It said, oh, don't vote to defund our schools. Now, I didn't do the research, or much of the research as one of the other public speakers that the state legislature is doing, because first of all, I've got enough to do just keeping up with the city council business. And I was thinking, what if all of us, all 13 of us, decided that we're going to make resolutions on gun rights, on something like this or other things, and they brought it to the council? Look how much time would be taken away and energy from the sidewalks and fixing the potholes and that stuff that we're responsible for. Now, and I do agree, everybody has the right to bring up whatever they want to under the rules currently. You can bring up anything you want to. But what if all 12 of us, or 13 of us, decided that we wanted to have such resolutions to voice our opinion on a higher form of government, the state legislature or federally? Well, we'd never get through a meeting, for one thing. And we have elected officials to take care of this. And somebody eloquently stated that it is still going through the state legislature. We don't even know what the end product is going to be to say whether or not we're for or against, because we are not state legislatures. I do believe, again, that, and I said this at the executive committee meeting, we should do what is right for the children. And there are some children, although the schools here in Montgomery County might be good, remember, this is a state issue. It's not just Montgomery County. And some children, minority children and poor children, they are stuck in bad schools. And yes, there are bad schools. That might not be politically correct to say, but some counties have poor and bad schools, not just in Tennessee, but over the whole country. And those children are stuck there. They have no choice and no way to get out. And and you are told wherever you live, what are you told? You're going to go to the school that we assign for you. You live at this area, you're going to go to this school. If you live in a poor area, you're going to go to that school. You're going to do as we say. And it reminds me, remember the old Soviet Union? Well, maybe the mayor maybe remember, but I don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's be polite, please.
Thank you.
Councilperson Redd.
But at that time, the old Soviet Union, they would tell you all the way to the store that you had to go and purchase your food. And you would have to wait in bread lines for hours. On a television, you'd have to wait years, or a car years, just to have this, because everything was government controlled. And again, I just believe it's not right that a child is told and that parent's told, you're going to go to this school. There's no school choice. Like we can say here, you might want to go to Walmart, you might want to go to Kroger, and that's where innovation comes in because of competition. And it's not right for people that do pay, that have to budget, and they got to pay for their own 100% of their tuition to put their child into a private school. Plus, they got to pay 100% of all of their taxes, and they have no support there. And I know some people that they homeschool. There's some people that put their children in a private school, and they sacrifice a lot because they can't have both parents working if they're doing the whole school. And just let me say this too. One of the members said, that this is not a democracy whenever she was talking about, or they were talking about the resolution. Let me remind you, we are not a democracy. We are a representative republic. A democracy is simply majority rules. We don't live by majority rules. That is, whatever the majority is. Those that are in the minority also have rights by the Constitution. And that's what we are. And I wish people would quit describing us. Every time I see that on television, our democracy, they should say our republic. So I'll just stop right there and ask you to vote no and let the state legislature finish their job. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilperson Lovato, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that I will be abstaining from this vote. Our community has very different opinions on this topic, and I am not comfortable sending a collective message on their behalf. Thank you.
Councilperson Reynolds, you're recognized.
Thank you. I would just like to say that in the interest of the best children, it should be decided at the local level. We currently have the authority at the local level to approve or disapprove vouchers. We elect people to make that decision for us, and I want to remind you when I spoke of that, this is not a state issue. This is a local school board issue. They can decide, and we should leave it at that level. Our CMS, our school system, as the previous speaker said, we have a great school system within our community. We have school choice. Children can choose to go to different schools. They can choose to do different academies. I attended the leadership CMCSS and learned so many wonderful things about our school, and I'm so grateful for all the hard work that they do. And yeah, there are some areas in our state that do not have the best schools, and maybe those areas would like to invite charter schools, but those communities should make that choice. It should not be dictated from the state based on a vote that is obviously really being driven by corporate America and not in the best interest of our community.
Councilperson Allen, you're recognized.
I want to say that our community last year voted no on vouchers. So if our community voted no, and now the state's trying to say, okay, it doesn't matter what you voted, your community, what y'all voted for your county doesn't matter. That's the problem. They're trying to take away our school system. If another county wants to have vouchers, so be it. But our county voted no. And now they're trying to say, okay, now we're going to take that away from you. It's a state thing. So no, the state does not have the right to dictate what our education system does here in Montgomery County. They don't. Thank you.
Councilperson Zacharias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I just needed to buzz in and say that I need to respectfully disagree with the speaker from Ward 4 about the lack of change and innovation in public education. If anybody truly believes that, I would like to invite you to attend any of the faculty meetings or in-service sessions that I sit through. If a school is failing or receives a poor letter grade, the solution is to improve the school, not facilitate the movement of students out of a school that is labeled failing or, poorly performing to another school that never has to worry about getting that designation because their students don't have to take the same state tests. Their students aren't going to be in a classroom with a licensed teacher. Their student is not going to be at a school that receives the same letter grades that the public schools do. That's the wrong way to raise the performance of a school is to take out a portion of the students and put them in a system that isn't evaluated, isn't graded the same way. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, Councilperson Red, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Two quick things. First of all, this is going to be a state law. This is going to affect every county in the state. It's nothing that's just because it's just going to affect Montgomery County. It's all counties. And I believe that some schools are not innovative. Some of them are not very good schools. And children, again, are stuck there. And children should have a choice of which school they go to, whether they live in a poor area in some of the counties or whether they live in a rich area. And most of us know if you live in a very poor area, in some counties, those schools reflect that type area. If you live in a rich area, if the school is much better, you have to, and you can't choose that school system there. So I'm just saying we don't have much as far as changes over the years to do anything about that. You're just told what school you're going to go to is determined by your address. Thanks.
Councilperson Little, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. And I've been sitting here listening to a lot of things that go on, and it's one of those situations to where, yes, do we need to protect our public schools? Yes. So we give children the choice or parents the choice to pick different things? Yes. My main reason for that is just because over this last year, I've had a lot of people contact me and call out to me, not about education or anything like that, but dealing with other students affecting their child being able to obtain a proper education. I've had one from one school called me and said that their daughter was inappropriate things were being done. And there was multiple people they reached out to and nobody did anything and nobody said anything, so I had to help them out. Then there's another school to where I was reached out by another completely different school in a different age group and category, stuff like that, to where their student was being degraded and some ridiculous stuff was being said, and they had no option or no choice. And then another completely different school dealing with even my daughter, where I had an incident where a student was doing stuff and affecting other parents, kids in the school, and the parents in the school said they can't do anything. And so, and that's how it works and operates. So there's multiple things that go on in the school other than just grades and trying to get somebody a good education. And I do agree that I feel like there needs to be more giving out about this voucher program if they're going, the state's taking it over. It needs to be more given out to the public about it. It needs to be some kind of clear way to see where it's going, who's going to, is it going to be fairly distributed and stuff such as that. So right now it's too much to really say this is what I feel like is going forward. So I would either vote this down or abstain.
Councilperson Shekinah, you recognized.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to call for the question.
Motion been made and properly seconded in favor of ceasing discussion. Any objection to calling for the question? Hearing none, seeing none. Okay, now we're ready to vote on Resolution 38. We're voting on Resolution 38. All members, please cast your vote. Any member wish to change the vote? Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
5 yes, 4 no, 2 abstain.
Resolution 38 passes. We are now ready. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Please. Okay, we're now ready for the next item on our agenda is public discussion, vote on approval of a settlement demand by plaintiffs. Look v. the City of Clarksville. I will call on Chairperson Streetman for that discussion and motion. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. The city received a settlement demand in the amount of $289,861.94 in the Kimberly Look versus the City of Clarksville case, as was recommended by our legal counsel. And they recommended that we do not approve this settlement offer. And the Finance Committee, also in our vote, we recommended that it not be approved as well. I do have to remind everybody, as a legal option, the motion does have to be made for approval, but as I stated, our attorney recommended that we disapprove that. So I'll be making a motion for approval on the settlement demand offer of $289,861.94.
And that's a proper motion. Do I hear a second? It fails for lack of a second. We're now ready for mayor and council member comments. Any member have a comment? Councilperson Holloman, you're recognized.
I had a question for the council member from Ward 5. Can't really see it. So when we were doing the chicken ordinance, did you intend on bringing up the quails again?
I did. I was actually working on. I was actually working on a little bit more in-depth information pertaining to both of them, in order to kind of have a more uniform approach across the city, and also for people who want to get into it but they don't understand what it takes. Kind of almost like a little how-to as well that we could at the city provide it for those who get approved. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was just checking because if you weren't, I was going to bring something up. But all right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. The
Thank you,
chicken
Mayor.
ordinance. All right. Thank you. Chicken ordinance. Any other member have a comment? Seeing none, remember we are having a special session next Tuesday at 5:30. Among the items that we'll be considering are the appointment of a new city attorney, and you'll get information in the morning from our communications department and our clerk regarding that nomination. And the Ethics Code Review Committee will have a full report to be considered at the special session as well. No other comments. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Without objection, we're adjourned.